Appreciate Mrs. Roth playing for us. What a blessing it is to have a tremendous pianist and all of the musicians in our church. But I thought for that wonderful grace of Jesus, we'd have to get the fire extinguisher out because those keys were burning. So thank you for that, Mrs. Roth. What a tremendous job you do as a church of singing. Can I say thank you for being a church that loves to worship God? And so thank you for that, your joyful spirit, your smiling faces. And some of you, song number 1, you're a little bit awake, but by song number 2, Pastor Josh has you wide awake. And so thank you for that. But then I have the task of keeping you awake. And so let's do that together. Revelation chapter 2, we do have a handout for you that they can pass out for you. If you need one, would you slip your hand up? We have men that are going to pass those out. Yep, just put your hand up. We are looking at the church at Thyatira today. Dear Church of Thyatira, we've been walking through the book of Revelation together, and we are walking through these 7 churches. My father asked me one time, he said, why don't you just do all 7 churches in one Sunday? And I remember I had a Bible teacher who told me one time, truth, like paint, is best applied in layers. I want you to think about that for a minute. Truth, like paint, is best applied in layers. And so instead of jumping into all 7 churches and seeing all the things at once, we've been taking our time walking through these 7 churches and seeing what it is that God has for us in these churches. The church at Thyatira received the largest letter of the 7 churches, even though it was the smallest city. And so today we have the largest letter given by Christ, but it was the smallest city. The Savior reminds us in this evaluation that the size of the ministry does not matter, but rather the sort. Think about that for a minute. The size of the church doesn't matter, but rather the sort. Smyrna was a church that was assaulted by the synagogue of Satan. Pergamos was the church trying to serve in the midst of the throne of Satan. But Thyatira had plummeted into the deep things of Satan. Pergamos was called the compromised church that tolerated sin. Thyatira, on the other hand, not only tolerated sin, but they encouraged it. Thyatira, I believe, is the corrupted church. The corrupted church. Pastor Josh and I this week were texting each other back and forth of some things we had found on social media. Pastor Josh texted me, it was a church, I'll not name it and where it's located, that was doing the Passion of the Christ in the form of Toy Story. And in the middle of the play, Buzz Lightyear dies to the evil